Hey, Katharina, how are you doing?
Hey, good, and you?
I'm good, thanks. Before I start this interview with you, I just want to make sure I got your name right.
Katharina.
Okay. Yeah, that was my fear is that I was gonna say your name wrong. I was like, so next time I have you on an interview, I don't get any freebies, correct?
How good. Americans always say Katharina or
Mhm.
Katharina, but like the right spell in German would be Katharina. Yeah,
I just want to make sure I didn't get that wrong. So,
no, it was right.
yeah, so I just want to just welcome you. It's your first time on Empire Universe Media, so just welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I just want to
Thanks for the invite.
Oh, no, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. I just want to ask, did you manage to catch the fights on the weekend?
Yes, of course. I watched the whole card. So that's what I usually do. Like I watch almost every UFC event.
And when you watch these fights, are there things that you watch it and you kind of pick it up, or do you bring it to practice? Like I know fighters have done that in the past.
Can you say it again? The connection was a little bit off, please.
Sorry, when you watch UFC cards or any organization that put on
Mhm.
events, are there things that you pick up that you will bring to practice?
Yes, for sure. Some things are like I watch, for example, okay, how they gonna defend that kind of takedown, and yeah, there are a few things I've tried if they work for me too.
hmm So you've said that you've watched the whole card. I didn't get a chance to watch it. There was a lot of criticism with Carla Esparza and Rose Namajuanas fight. They're both highly dedicated. They're both great athletes. Like going from MMA career or like MMA like a fighter's perspective, I know that there was a lot of criticism, a lot of frustration that maybe people saw it
Mhm.
as a boring fight. But watching it as a mixed martial artist, how did you view that fight, and what can you say towards all those fans booing at the fight?
I think so. Fans booing is never cool because, like, you have to be brave to stay in that octagon. And I mean, these are girls like the top high level in the world. Of course, it was not a fight which was like super entertaining because um, Rose, she moved a lot, and we know Carla is a good wrestler. She doesn't strike too much, and I mean the game plan did not work. Um, but I was thinking that the split decision goes to Rose because, in my opinion, you really have to dominate the champ to win, and it was a super close fight.
Yeah, and I was really surprised. Like I went back and watched some of the highlights and really got feedback from people that were sending me messages about the fight. They were asking what I thought, and it was really interesting that they did give Rose the nod, or excuse me, Carla the nod,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of times, yeah, they give the champ the nod, even though sometimes it really isn't the right decision, but that typically does happen, unfortunately. I was surprised, and I think, but I at the same time, you can't be nothing but happy for Carla. I mean, she's worked her way up.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, she worked her way up, but I mean, I moved to Denver now, so Rose is kind of my teammate. So of course, I want her to win. But I think that almost everyone deserves it. You know, they all work super hard, and like you said, she worked her way up, and the strawweight division is anyways like super exciting because I feel like the title there are so many super high level girls like Joanna, Whaley, Rose, Jessica Andrade. So you never know what's gonna happen in a title fight.
Oh, 100%. And I think what people kind of miss in that particular fight is that people don't understand that. everyone has a game plan. It's whether or not it's going to be executed or not. Carla's game plan was to take her down. What she does is her wrestling is her strength. Unfortunately, with Rose, with her movement, that's just
Yeah.
that's sometimes how the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, Rose has incredible footwork. Like it's really hard to take her down, and we saw that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, I do want to move forward. I want to talk more about you here. I want to get to know you more. You talked about moving to Denver. So I gotta ask, like, what's the weather like at this time of the year, and how can you compare that weather back home at this time of the year?
It's the same. It's really like the same. I tried to go to Vegas because I was like, maybe because Vegas is like the capital of MMA. But I'm honest with the dry heat. Like I think I'm too German for that. I love four seasons. I like snow. I like springtime, and the summer is not too hot, so you can still get out of the house without almost dying. And right now, I think it's like between 75 and 80 degrees here, so that's the perfect weather for me. Yeah, and in Germany, it's the same. We have four seasons. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, no, it's beautiful back home here in Ontario, Canada. Normally it's not this warm at this time of the year. Like, yeah, we usually get lucky, but this is, we're really fortunate and I'm glad.
Mhm.
It's nice. We're tired of the shit weather, so we're
Yeah.
but I just want to ask, you're from Germany. What prompted your decision to move to the United States or Denver?
Yeah, so the problem back home is, I mean, MMA is growing right now in Germany, but it's still super small. You have a few good MMA gyms meanwhile, but the biggest issue is I have no female training partners there. So this is the reason I choose to do my camps in America. I did that years ago too at Jackson Wink in Albuquerque. I couldn't come over when COVID started because they closed the border for us Europeans. So I kept training in Germany. But as soon as they opened up, I was like, okay, I will go back because I really need females in my team. And a friend, she lived with me in Albuquerque. She introduced me to the team here in Denver, Easton. And I really love it. Like everyone is super nice. It's very high level training. The schedule is perfect for me. So after 3 weeks, I was like, okay, I will move here.
Yeah, you were just hooked instantly, eh?
Yeah.
And who do you normally? Who's your typical training partners?
So I train a lot with JJ Aldrich, um, Claire, and Raquel Pennington is there. She's my size, my height. Um, Miranda Maverick is there. Right now, Lauren Murphy is there. I trained with her for the first time, and she's a really good training partner for me too. Yeah, there are a lot of girls.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you have your hands full over there. And I mean, like you're training with a lot of those tough girls. I mean, what has been the biggest thing that you've learned since you've moved over there?
The biggest thing I've learned is you can learn a lot in sparring and don't have to kill each other because this happens a lot in other gyms I've trained, also in Germany. Like sparring was always 100%. And here it's everyone is very technical. Like I think not a lot of people get injured here. It's just, yeah, everything is good here. Like the vibe is good. Coaches are really, really good. They pay attention. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. And I understand, like, you kind of started boxing as more of a hobby, but what's your story? Like, how did you get into what made you decide to pursue combat sports as a profession?
So I started boxing when I was like 14, 15, like fitness boxing twice a week, maybe. And, and after college, I moved to Cologne. I was like, okay, now I can train a little bit more serious. But there was a MMA gym like 10 minutes ago, away from me, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try it out. And I remember the first time I got there, there was BJJ training, and I had no clue. I mean, I watched MMA fights, but the first training in BJJ is like you lay down and you have no clue what you're gonna do next. So I did it, but then I was like, okay, I want to learn that. I really do want to learn that. So I started BJJ and wrestling there in 2012. And yeah, and I just kept training and training. And after 2 years, my coach was like, "You want to compete?" And I was like, "Yeah, for sure. Let's fight."
Yeah, and I mean, like looking at your career, when you first started out, was there like a fighter that you idolized, or that someone that really influenced you?
So the first female fight I've ever watched was Gina Carano against Chris Cyborg. And I know back in the days, I was like, I want to look like Gina Carano because she is like super attractive, that super attractive hot girl. But I really want to hit as hard as Cyborg. Yeah.
Did you have any second thoughts when you saw what Cyborg could do to her?
Do you mean like if I was like afraid or something of fighting?
Yeah, like when you saw that kind of, I mean, the kind of damage that someone could take in a fight that Cyborg can do and has done in the past.
To be honest, I never thought about the damage I might take. I still don't do it, and luckily, nothing ever happened in a fight.
And actually, talking about
Like nothing serious.
for sure, actually talking about Cyborg, I mean, she's still fighting. I think she's maybe 35, 36. She's still fighting. I mean, she's doing great things inside and outside the cage. And watching her fight with Gina Carnero, years ago, and she's still fighting. I mean, what do you feel that does for women's combat sports?
I mean, Cyborg is a pioneer of the sport. She fought the best of the best in the world. She competes since years. She even gets better too. She still gets better. And yeah, I think we females should be very thankful to have her because she got up without talking trash, for example. She just showed up, made a good performance, and she does good things outside of the gym too. When you follow her, I met her back, like I think it was 2017 in Thailand, and she's also a super nice human being.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people say. You look at her in the cage and she's like, this girl's like nothing like she is like outside the cage. She's a nice woman, great person, but then you step in the cage with her and it's like, okay, you're facing a different kind of cyborg here.
Yeah, definitely.
And talking about Gina Carnero, she had a bit of a career, and then she kind of got into the whole acting gig. Looking at what
Mm-hmm.
film and what the film industry is really doing, bringing in a lot of MMA fighters. I understand Eric Anders. He's getting into Cobra Kai. I mean, like, what do you feel like this does for the sport of MMA?
I think it's like perfect. It's perfect for the scene because it makes us bigger. It gives us more possibilities. Maybe the payments getting better because yeah, a lot of more people are gonna get interested in MMA, and also I really like it for the fighters because the payment is still not that good. So we're not making millions like an NFL player. Um, but I'm pretty sure that when they starting to be an actor, they gonna get paid way better. Cowboy Cerrone, for example, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's so many fighters that have done so much outside the cage, in the film industry. If an opportunity ever came to you, would you take something like that?
Oh yes, of course. Of course. I think I might have to work on my accent, but I would do it for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I gotta ask, like, your English is very good. Like, have you always known English, or is this something that you had to learn prior moving to the States?
Mm, so in Germany, you start learning English. I think I was 10, around 10, but after school, and when I got to the first time to to America, I was like shocked because so many people have an accent, they speak slang, and I was like not confident in my English, so I tried to avoid speaking too much. But then when I decided, okay, girl, you want to live here or at least do all your training camps here, and also I want to communicate with everyone. Your English has to get better. I did not learn more, but what I started to do is like I watch every movie and show in English, and all my books. So I read in English, and it helped me a lot.
Right, right. Yeah, and I think that would really help out a lot. And I understand too, like there's some fight camp or not fight camps, but like there's other training facilities that will kind of help with. I understand, like I talked with a couple of Chinese fighters, and I think they were training at Team Alpha Male, or I'm not sure it was Team Alpha Male, somewhere in California,
Mm-hmm.
and they had a couple Chinese fighters, and they're all training together. So they would like have someone kind of fill in the blanks for them. So the coach instructing them what to do, then they can kind of converse to each other and say, okay, this is what he's talking about. Okay, so let's do that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of nice to have that option as well. But if you already know your English, then it's definitely a plus.
Yeah, like now I feel confident enough to live here. You know, I can handle everything here. I mean, sometimes my grammar might not be the best, but at least everyone understands what I mean.
And do you have any family back home?
Yes, so my whole family lives in the south of Germany.
And how much do you go to visit them? And is it tough being all the way home, or like all the way away, all the way? Sorry, is it tough being away from home?
Yeah, for sure. So that's the thing. A lot of people think like, oh my God, she travels so much. She can just go to America and live there and train there. But people forget that I mean, I have friends here, but it still can get lonely. It's your family, you know, like if you're good with your family, who doesn't want to be close to their family? So I hopefully fight in July. That's the plan. And hopefully then maybe August and September, and then I plan to go back for at least 3-4 weeks.
Excellent, excellent. And looking at your resume, you know, you got a chance to be on the Ultimate Fighter show. What was the experience like being a part of that show?
Oh, it was one of the best experiences I had in my life. In the beginning, I wasn't even sure if I want to do it because it was like, oh my God, 6 weeks without phone, without contact to anyone. I was dating a guy to this time, and I was like, oh, should I really do it? And but then I was like, oh yeah, it's such a big chance. I just do it. And in the house, I had an amazing time. Like, and the thing with the phone, for example, like not having a phone, it was one of the best experiences. Like, you have no stress, nothing. It's so good waking up without looking at the phone. Yeah.
Like, what was the reason for that? Why weren't you allowed to have your phone?
So you're not allowed to have your phone, so you can't talk to anyone outside and maybe tell them the results or anything. And also, you're not allowed to have books, for example, because of course they want you to interact with everyone all the time in the house. So it's more entertaining, you know.
I do feel like sometimes the way they edit the show, they try to edit different scenes and put them together and make it look like something that it really isn't. Almost like embellish
Yeah,
a bit.
yeah, that's true.
Now that being said, obviously, but being on that show, things didn't always end up the way you wanted them to. But what would have been your best experience and your worst experience on the show?
So the worst experience on the show was that I was picked first fight. I remember that. So I had like a few days in the house before I fought, and I told my team, it was Team Whitaker, what I usually do fight week. And like I like to do workouts, like just hitting mitts, drilling a little bit. I had the feeling they did not really care. They just put me, or put all the people who had to fight, in the normal training. Like, okay, we train twice a day, 2 hours, like no specific training. That was one thing which really bothered me. But the best experience, I would say, besides of that, everything was just like super cool. Staying with strangers in a house, getting to know each other. But we had such a good time. Like we cooked all together all the time. We played chess the whole time. It was funny. It was really good.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear that. And looking at your career so far, what's probably been your most favorite fight of your career so far?
The fight against Sarah Kaufman, because I was like perfect prepared. I was fit. My cardio was on point. The weight cut was like super easy, and yeah, I had so much fun. I had really so much fun. I remember like when they said you have to fight, or you can fight Sarah Kaufman, and I was okay for sure. I'm gonna fight her. But then like 2 weeks before, I realized, I was like, man, you gonna fight Sarah Kaufman, and such a big name for the title. So I was not scared, but yeah, kind of super excited. And then when I was stepped into the cage, I was like, okay, you know what? This can't be worse than a really hard sparring session with Holly Holm. Like, because I had super hard sparring with her the weeks before, and I was like, okay, this can't be worse. Like, just have fun.
Hmm. Okay. And looking at your career, your last fight, if I'm mistaken, I apologize if I am, but your last fight was in 2020. Um,
Mhm.
so what is the reason for the layoff? Was that planned on your part, or what prompted that decision?
So there was no layoff planned. We had a hard time finding fights in Europe because everything was in lockdown.
Hmm.
And I got offered to fight for Bellator like on a 2 weeks notice. And I was like, yeah, I will do that. And so I fought in 2020 in Italy because I did a European series. And then I was supposed to fight last year in October in Germany. And after the weigh-ins, like yeah, the night before the fight, I got fever and I got like super, super sick. And in the morning, I called the head coach and I told him, and he was like, okay, let's meet, maybe move a little bit, see how you feel. And I felt really bad. Like I couldn't breathe really good. I lost completely my voice. And he was like, no, you're not going to fight like this.
Now
So
was
unfortunately, yeah.
Sorry. Now was it COVID that you had gotten?
No, it was not COVID. Everyone thought like it's COVID, but I was like, hey, I just got COVID before. I don't think it's COVID, but I tested myself and it was not COVID. It was just like a really, really bad flu. Yeah.
Now, do you feel like maybe the weight cut had anything to do with that?
And that's the thing. Like, I didn't really cut. I cut not even 1 pound before the weigh-ins.
Oh,
Yeah. So I was super low on weight. Um, So I don't think why it happened, but I must have met people who've been maybe a little bit sick before and didn't realize it. And of course, I mean, even if you sweat like 1 pound, I think your immune system goes down. And it's already down because you train too much in the training camp. So yeah, it happened, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, looking forward though, any fight news, and has your management worked on anything lately?
Yeah, we are working on the next show for Invicta in July. So I signed a new contract with Invicta, and I wanted to fight on this card tomorrow, but my visa expired and I had to renew it, and it take way longer than expected. And then they said, okay, let's not do that card because then you only have like 2 weeks training. So we're gonna do the card in July.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I hope nothing but the best for you. I hope that that does work out for you. Now, I kind of had this was a question that a lot of people asked me. My thoughts, and I was like, well, I'm not a fighter, so I only can say it from a fan's perspective. But a big question that's been brought up, and maybe could be brought up for other fighters, is do you think that big organizations should develop a pension plan for fighters?
Yes, I really do think so.
And I mean, like, for yourself, if that never were to happen in a perfect world, if that were not to happen, do you have plans for what you like to do after you retire?
So I have a bachelor degree in health management and also did like life coaching courses, and that's what I'm planning to do afterwards. Like, yeah, just coaching.
Excellent. And what about, like, I think that you were talking about the life skill, like I think you were talking something prior to the life skill. What was that again?
Health management.
Oh, health management. So is
Mhm.
that like more like as a nutritionist, or?
So nutrition was included, but what I did after college in Germany for 2 years, I worked for a health insurance, and I worked together with big companies in Germany. So I kind of told them what would be better, like in the workspace, like what kind of table they should have, um, chairs, like what they should feed the employers, and also like what kind of shifts they should do. That's a big thing in Germany, like the health management in companies.
Okay. All right. That's actually really cool, and I'm glad to hear that's someone that a fighter that I've talked to now kind of has a plan in place. I understand a lot of fighters have that idea. They want to open up their own gym, but I think it's easier said than done.
That's what I always saying. Like, I don't want to open up a gym and I don't want to coach till I'm 70 or something. And yeah, so no, that was never the plan.
Excellent, excellent to hear. I do want to end the interview with actually like a fun question, because I just been talking to you the last little bit. Tell me the story about the tattoo on your arm and your hand there.
So this is a third eye, and this is the Ganesha. It's
Okay.
from the Hinduism. I got these in Germany. He's one of my favorite tattoo artists, but he moved back to Romania to his family. And now I found a really good one here in Denver, Colorado. And I think I will go back to him in a few weeks and finish up my whole neck. Oh,
And
he did that too, the one in Germany.
excellent. What do you plan on getting on your neck?
I'm not sure yet, to be honest, because I'm like, okay, I want to get my whole neck test with you. This one was so painful. So since almost 1 year, I'm like, okay, maybe next month, maybe next month. I want letters here. I just want like inhale, exhale here. And then I have to talk to him what he thinks, what we should do to fill it up here. Maybe mandalas or something, or dot work. Yeah.
That's cool. Just I would advise, don't put the damage on your chest or something. Like he's got the damage right on there. I don't know. It might be a little confusing when he's like 70 years old and they're like, the damage, what's going on?
Yeah, but I think when we old, because I mean, I hear that a lot. Like, okay, now it looks good, but what happens when you're like 60 or 70?
Mhm.
And I'm always like, okay, first of all, I don't get to look not good with tattoos when they're old. Of course, the skin is not that tight anymore, but still, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I'm actually running out of time here, so I just want to thank you for taking your time to come on here and talk a little bit about yourself. And when you do have that fight booked with Invicta, I'd love to have you back on for another interview and talk about that fight.
Yeah, I'll let you know for sure.
Excellent.
Thank you.